Ananyas chintayanto mam.
Ananyas chintayanto mam.
Ye jana paryupasate.
Ye jana paryupasate.
Tesam nityabhiyuktanam.
Tesham nityabhiyuktanam.
Yogaksemam vahamyaham.
Yoga shemam vahamyam. But those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditation on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. So this is the Prabhupada's favorite quote, is it?
This is one of his favorite verses. Yeah, he quoted this verse many times. Yeah.
Those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditation on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. Okay, very deep.
Jayanti's got something to say.
There is Life Insurance Corporation of India.
LIC.
You know, like LIC. Yeah. You know what their statement is? Their company statement is Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham.
Which is the last line of this verse.
Yeah.
That's LIC.
But now, LIC, yeah, you look up LIC, Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. So whatever you lack, whatever you lack, I provide, and then but that Yogakshema Mahamyam is, and I preserve what you have, right?
Yeah.
So what they have done is LIC has taken the I preserve what you have. Because you are investing and they'll give you, but now they have become crooks. So they're not giving anything. But they are using that statement.
Yeah.
So they meant well, but
So Prabhupada would often talk about this particular point of how Krishna will preserve what you have and carry what you lack.
Yeah.
And the criteria are given here for him to do that. So he doesn't do that for everyone. So who does he do that for?
Whoever.
So basically, he's going to maintain certain persons himself. And he's saying aham. Aham means I. So that Krishna himself is going to maintain certain persons. So who are those persons? He's giving the criteria here. If you always worship him, Krishna, with exclusive devotion, so exclusively devoted. So here also indicates that Krishna wants us to direct all our love to him. Not that, I worship Krishna on Sundays and I worship Shiva on Saturday and Ganesh on Thursday and Durga on Mondays. That's not exclusive devotion. So Krishna wants us just to be devoted to him every day. Monday Krishna, Tuesday Krishna, Wednesday Krishna. You get the idea. Exclusively devoted to him. And meditating on his transcendental form.
But if you go to the different form, like a Jagannath, he's also Krishna. So
of course, that's no difference. That's no difference.
So it's like a meditation on the form means you have to be meditating on the flute form, and he's playing the flute with the peacock feather. In that form, we can see in the temple. So meditate on the form.
Yes.
We meditate, if we are in the Bhakti tree has got a Jagannath, we haven't got the Krishna's form. So it's got to be.
Well, it is because, it said that whenever Lord Chaitanya would go to Jagannath Puri in the temple there in Jagannath Puri and see Jagannath, then he would see Krishna. When he would see Jagannath, he would see Krishna. Actually, we should know the pastime of how Jagannath manifested that form, how Krishna came to, and that pastime happened in Dwarka. You know that pastime, right?
That's right.
So when Krishna was hearing Rohini, who was in Vrindavan, when she was telling the Krishna's queens in Dwarka about the pastimes in Vrindavan, Krishna was in ecstasy. So he assumed that ecstatic form. And Balaram was also hearing, and Subhadra also hearing. So all of them became ecstatic hearing about Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, remembering, because they were feeling separation from the gopis and the other devotees in Vrindavan. So in feeling that separation from the devotees, he became so ecstatic hearing about his own pastimes. So when a pure devotee, even like Lord Chaitanya himself is Krishna in the mood of Radha, so when Lord Chaitanya was seeing Jagannath, she was seeing Shyam Sundar Krishna playing the flute. So we should connect Jagannath's form with Krishna's form.
Okay.
But the main point also is that God has a form, because as you know, there are many transcendentalists that think God doesn't have a form. But here, Krishna is establishing that he does have a form, and that the devotee thinks about that form, meditates on that form. And naturally, if you love someone, even like if a boy loves a girl loves a boy, they'll always be, seeing the picture in their heart of their boyfriend, of their girlfriend. They can visualize them, they can see them like that. If you have a lot of love for your mother or something, you might just close your eyes and you just see your mother. That's natural like that. So if you love someone, naturally you can picture their form. But also, this would also include meditating on the transcendental form, going to the temple. Going to the temple and seeing Jagannath, or going to the temple, see Radha Gokulananda, see Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, seeing the deity, that's also would be included in meditating on Krishna. So I would say, even like some people are not big on visualizing things, I also don't have that ability to just close my eyes and see clearly, any forms. But even for those persons that are not big on visualizing with closed eyes and meditating on the different forms, but if they go to the temple and you see that form with your eyes, that's also same principle. So whether it's with closed eyes and you see the form with closed eyes, or with open eyes and you see the deity, or even a picture of the deities as good, then that's also included in meditating on his transcendental form. And we should never think that the deity form is material. It's transcendental. It's transcendental. As you know, like in Jagannath Puri temple, even in Vrindavan temple, Mayapur temple, there's so many miracles that happen with the deities.
Yes.
They can leave the altar. They can talk with the devotees.
Yeah, that's true. It's like you probably know that one of the story in the Puri. What happened there? The farmer, he's got like a mango farm, and he said that Jagannath, come and steal my mango. I said, are you crazy? You know, they didn't believe that Pujari and all that. He said, no. Last night he came, and when he was running, his dhoti was stuck in the fence. The fence was there,
Okay.
and he left, and there's a little piece of the dhoti she left there in the fence, like broken there. So I bring that to show you the proof. And they seen that the Jagannath deity said the dhoti piece is gone, and he's got
Yeah.
that piece. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
true actually.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
this,
no, I've heard that one. Yeah, it's so
oh,
nice.
that
Yeah,
is, it's true.
that's inspiring. Yeah,
And the deity's the face has got all the mango on it.
yeah,
When they eat the mango, it's all on the face, like
yeah,
piece of
yeah, yeah, yeah,
eh?
yeah.
Definitely.
Like that, there's so many stories of different deities and different
Yeah,
temples. Even
yeah,
like in Mayapur,
yeah.
there's the Ugra Nrsimha Dev there, and his terrifying form, Ugra Nrsimha,
Yeah.
and in Mayapur. And one time, one of his brahmachari pujaris was always fearful of Nrsimhadev because it looks very scary, right? So whenever he was on the altar doing a service for Nrsimhadev, he would be a bit scared. And so one day he did his service, and he even heard some noise on the altar, and he was really scared. And then he went to bed, and in the night he was staying on the bunk bed. So there was a devotee would sleep on the bottom bed, and he was on the top bunk. So in the night the bunk was moving, and he thought,
Yeah.
oh, the pujari is moving on the bottom bunk and is moving, and therefore my one is moving. But then he opened his eyes, and Nrsimhadev was there.
Huh?
Nrsimhadev was there on top of him on his bed. And
I was scared.
he put his hand, Nrsimhadev put his hands on the pujari's chest and said, you're coming doing my service and you're always scared of me, but I'm coming to tell you that you don't have to be scared of me. I'm not going to hurt you. You know, I'm protecting the devotees. I'm not going to hurt the devotees. So he said, just be peaceful when you're doing your service. Don't be afraid of me. I'm not going to hurt you. And he put his hands on his chest. So then Nrsimhadev left, and the devotee was bewildered and in ecstasy at the same time. And he told the devotees afterwards what happened. And the proof was that he opened his shirt and you could see the Lord's hands on his chest. Could see the Lord's hands. So like that, there's many stories of different deities. Even like Radha Rasa Bihari in Juhu Temple in Mumbai, there's a Muslim tailor that he's been doing the dresses for many years. And he's actually a devotee, although born Muslim, but he's a devotee of Krishna. And he has to measure Radha and Krishna every year. And the people ask him, why are you measuring again? You only need to measure once, isn't it? Because stone isn't going to grow or shrink. But he said, no, they changing sizes, very often they're changing their sizes. So sometime putting the clothes, it doesn't fit. Clothes doesn't fit because the deity's size has changed. So like that, there's many. And stories about, offering the boga, and the pujari comes back and the offering's not there, or half eaten, or one sweet is half eaten or something, or the things are missing. And like that, there's so many pastimes like that. So we should understand the deity is also transcendental form. So whether you meditate on seeing the deity with open eyes or closed eyes, you visualize on Krishna in your heart, you're seeing that, then that's what's being talked about here. And if you do that, if you focus your worship on Krishna, not mix it up with loving every Tom, Dick, and Harry, then and you're meditating on his transcendental form, then Krishna says, then he'll personally maintain. Now, there was one story that one Brahmana, he read this sloka in Bhagavad Gita, and he couldn't believe it. What do you mean? If you just worship Krishna, meditate on Krishna, he's personally going to maintain you. So he didn't believe that. So he put a line through that verse where it said the last line, that Vahamyaham, this last line, Yoga Ksamya Vahamyaham. He put a cross through that. And then he went out to do some shopping, and his wife was at home, Brahmana's wife, and there was a knock at the door, and she opened the door. One beautiful boy is there at the door. One beautiful boy is there, and he's coming with arms full of grocery items.
Yeah.
And he said that I've brought this for your husband.
Yeah.
Your husband asked me to get these things. Okay. And so he put them, she was very surprised. that the husband is engaging this boy. And then she noticed there's some marks on his back is all cut. His back is all cut. And she said, who did this to you? And the boy said, your husband did this to me. No, that's not possible. He's a gentle Brahmana. He's not hurting anybody. The boy said, yes, he cut my back. And then he just disappeared. He left. And the husband came home, and the wife said, why did you attack that boy? That one boy came here delivering the food you asked him to get, and you attacked him, and his back is all cut, I saw. And then he said, no, what do you mean? What boy? I haven't hurt any boy. No, he came here and he delivered. Look at everything he bought. It was everything they needed. Everything they needed, it was there. And then he had a suspicion. Was that Krishna came? And then he looked at the Bhagavad Gita. And where he had crossed out the line, yoga samya vahamyaham, the cross was removed. Means the words were true.
Yes.
The words were not false.
Yes.
It wasn't false. It wasn't a lie. It was true. So Krishna had proven his words here of the Bhagavad Gita, that he personally provides. So he felt so bad that he didn't believe in the words of Krishna, and that that was a directly offending Krishna by not believing his words. We should know that there's no difference between the word of God and the person God. Is the same. There's no difference between the word and the person. That's the reason also why devotees should not put lines on the Bhagavad Gita. And I know some devotees do that. We make markings.
Marking, okay.
We write on the Bhagavad Gita. Actually, it's worshipable. The Bhagavad Gita is worshipable. It's non-different to Krishna. Same with Srimad Bhagavatam or any other scripture. We should not put lines or marks or write on the book. And many devotees do it, but it's better to put like post-it notes, like those yellow notes and different colored notes you can stick on.
What I do,
notes.
I fold the page. My favorite verse, I fold the top bit of the page. I remember this is my favorite verse.
Okay.
20-30 of them is the favorite. And then I fold the top bit so I can open directly the same page. Anyway.
That's okay, but even folding it, I don't know if that's a good idea. But better to put the little post-it sticky notes.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's better, but definitely not writing lines and everything like that, because it's worshipable, not different from Krishna. It's not an ordinary book. Of course, in an ordinary book you can do whatever you want, but actually, even I learned from my wife and others that even in an ordinary book, you shouldn't like walk over it or put your foot on it or anything, because even that is Saraswati, right? The goddess of learning. So anything to do with knowledge, that means Goddess Saraswati is involved there. So you should not put your foot, or even on an ordinary book, or step over the book like that. Even in an ordinary book, we should respect like that. There's some God's energy is there. And but especially Bhagavad Gita is directly Krishna's words, so it's not different from Krishna.
The old man comes here. He's a Sikh old man. He's quite old, and then he's retired. And he was telling that when the India-Pakistan was like a one country, I was working on the railway, and one of my colleagues, he was like Krishna's devotee, Bhakta, and we just take him ordinary. Okay, I'm Sikh, I go to Gurdwara temple, and then he's a Krishna Bhakti. Okay. We don't know how solid his Bhakti was. He said that what happened there one day, he asked that there's a wedding happening in his village. He needs some time off. So his boss says that, we are tight in the staff, this is this. we can only give you 2 days off. And then he said, okay, at least 2 days I can attend the wedding. It's very close relatives, and I'll come back. They said, okay. But he went there and he got sick. He got a food poisoning and he got sick. And the boss, he's the manager or whoever boss there, he says, if you don't come back in 2 days, that means your job is gone. We are here very strict with that because short staff, this is this. He said, no, I'll be back. And he got a food poisoning and he could not go back for 1 week because he was so sick, he could not go back for 1 week. And then after 1 week, he went there. He was thinking pretty much job is gone. So he went there and everybody just greeting, how you going? How you going? And then he says, what's happening? Like nobody's, give me some written warning or something like that. And he talking to his colleague, yeah, okay, come for tea, okay. And he says, like nobody was asking me how was the wedding and things like, and I was sick for 1 week and things like that. What's happening? Then he said to manager, I'm really sorry. And he said, what for? He said that because you asked me for 2 days and I was food poisoning, I was sick, I couldn't come for 7 days. He said, what do you mean? It just came and we're working there. You go to the doctor to get a checkup in your head, man. He said, what do you mean? He said, yeah, everybody's just saying, yeah, you're here every day. Like after 2 days, you come, yeah. He was stunned and he left the job. He said, Tara, he gone to Vrindavan. He never seen him again.
Wow, cool.
They never seen him again. He said that he left everything behind, doesn't even give the resignation, nothing. He left everything, tools, everything behind, just run to Vrindavan. He never come back. And then this Sikh people say, we never seen him again.
Wow, that's
Krishna
amazing.
Gave his service duty because he was sick.
Yeah.
And he was so shocked, like I might lose my job. And when they say, everything is okay, you will come in every day. What is it? Only he knows. Nobody knows. Only he knows. He was in the village. Then he left everything and just ran to Vrindavan and never seen him again.
Special mercy. Wow.
Yeah, that's
Very
right.
Lucky.
But I was asking, you said that transcendental on the Krishna's form, then where is a guru came in between? The guru is also important. Like
of course,
bypass guru and then always transcendental in Krishna's form.
Yeah.
When we gonna,
Yeah, if you even, like it says, remember Krishna when you die, but if you remembered your guru when you die, that's also going to go back to Godhead. Or if you're thinking about the guru, and that, naturally, when you think about the guru, what do you think? You think he's Krishna's servant. So that means you're remembering Krishna. So if you remember the guru, then you're also going to be remembering Krishna, because the guru is not separate from Krishna. He's a surrendered soul to Krishna. He's a pure devotee of Krishna. So if you remember the guru, automatically you'll be remembering Krishna. And sometimes it may be difficult for us to remember Krishna. He seems very far away from us. But the guru is very close. He was, even like Prabhupada was here up to 50 years ago.
Yeah.
And like that, we know people that, were with him, like Radhanath Swami, Giriraj Swami, they were with him. So, and they tell us about him and everything. So someone like Prabhupada, the pure devotee, is very close, easy to think of him, easier to remember him and think of him and visualize him. But there's same result, same benefit.
It's I dreamed about 2 days ago, Radha Swami, he was making a halwa. And then he said that, where's the ghee, Gulshan? And then, oh my God, we ran out of the ghee. And he said, go and get the ghee, at least 2 kilo. I said, okay. And he said, then I have to wait there. You have to check then, make sure the ghee is there. And I said, oh, sorry, Maharaj. What you got to do is that, why not you start that ghee from my van? My van has got a 1 kilo of the ghee, but it's like a 25% already used it. I said, 75% here. He said, but that's not 2 kilo. I said, I'm going to get it, but you start the halwa from there. He said, okay, I'll start from here, but go and get 2 kilo quickly. And now running because he took my van, because van has got a ghee. And then and then the shop is too far to go there to get that. I'll just keep thinking, oh my God, ghee, 2 kilo. And then I just wake up. I said, where I am? I was sleeping in the van. It's just
Oh,
like
that's so nice.
not different. But
Good,
yeah,
good.
it's, you got a Guru Maharaj in your thoughts. He always comes, he'll be representative of Krishna. So,
Yeah.
okay.
Nice,
Got it.
nice. That's very nice. So, yeah, same principle to think of the Guru as to think about Krishna. Krishna will be very pleased if we're thinking about his servants, the pure devotee.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's
it's
look
meant
at
that Krishna says that I live in my devotees. So if you serve my pure devotee, it means you serve me. So if you
yes,
serve Prabhupada, so okay.
yeah, definitely. Even Krishna says it to such an extreme point that it's even better to serve my devotees than me. He says it's even better to worship Krishna's devotees than Krishna. And even Parvati one time asked Lord Shiva, what is the highest worship? And there's a famous verse, Aradhanam, I think it's Aradhanam hi sarvesham, Vishnu Aradhanam param. So of all kinds of worship, Aradhanam, well, the highest is the worship of Vishnu. But then it says, what's the third line? Aradhanam hi sarvesam, Vishnu Aradhanam param. And then the last line is Tadiyanam Samachanam, which means even higher than the worship of Vishnu is to worship Vishnu's devotees. So Lord Shiva says that the highest worship is the worship of Vishnu or Krishna, but even higher than that is to worship the Lord's devotees. So that's a very effective way to please Krishna by serving his devotees. As we've explained before, what can you give to Krishna? He already has everything. So he doesn't really need much. But the devotee needs a lot of things. So Krishna will be very pleased if we assist the devotee, help the devotee in his service. Krishna will be very satisfied by that. And the devotee will easily be pleased. The devotee will be easily pleased even by a little bit of service. Whereas it's hard to give Krishna something that he doesn't already have. He has everything. So yeah, it's very effective to serve the devotees, to worship the devotees. And Krishna will be very pleased by that. Okay, do you want to start reading the purport?
Yeah.
Now we've talked about some examples of Krishna maintaining the devotees, but even from my own personal experience, I've seen that. I surrendered my life to Krishna 30 years ago, and exclusively devoted to Krishna only. And we meditate on see the deities and everything like that. And I've experienced how that Krishna does maintain me. I mean, in my 30 years plus, I've hardly ever haven't had a regular income for much of that time. Only for a short period in my first Grihastha ashram, I had a full-time job for a few years only. So only for a few years in that 5 years maybe, in that 30 years that I've had a proper income. And yet I'm being maintained. I always have a roof over my head. I always have food, always have clothes. I can go to India and we seem to be spending money like anything, but without having knowing how we're going to make money. So somehow the money always comes, and then someone might say that, oh, because you have a wife that she had earned a lot of money, and different things like that, and that's why you're being maintained. But even then you could say, but how did I get such a wife? How did I get such a wife
Krishna.
that is so wealthy that I don't need to work? You know, but that's Krishna's mercy. See, Krishna's maintaining me, but he doesn't necessarily always do it directly, but he can maintain us indirectly. Now Jayanti's staring at me. So, but it's true. It's true.
Wealthy now.
Now she's saying she's not wealthy now because I've spent all her money. But yeah, there's enough. There's always enough. And so Krishna, often he will maintain the devotee indirectly. And we've seen that even like in the Tukaram movie, you can see there that Tukaram is a completely pure devotee of Panduranga, Krishna, but his wife is not. His wife is a devotee of Durga, but she's also devoted to her husband, of course. So one day she's taking food. She's cooked for her husband. She's taking it to, he's meditating in the forest. He's meditating on Krishna in the forest. And she takes the food and she stands on a thorn. And it's very painful. She tries to get it out. She can't get it out. And then one old man comes out of nowhere. And then grabs her foot and has a look, and then takes a thorn from the tree, and then uses that thorn from the tree to remove the thorn from her foot. And then he gets it out of her foot. And she's feeling very relieved and very thankful. And she says, "Thank you very much. What's your name?" And he says, "Panduranga." So that's God's name. And she actually hates Panduranga because she blames Panduranga for having a crazy husband that doesn't work, for having a crazy husband that doesn't work and is always meditating on him, and he doesn't make an income for the family. And she blames Panduranga on all their, the family not having much. So then she said, "Panduranga," very angry, and then she picked up a rock and threw it at the old man, and he runs away. And then you see in the movie that when the old man gets behind the bushes, then he transforms his form into young Krishna. And Krishna's like laughing his head off. He's having such a good time. But you just see how Krishna is maintaining not only the devotees, but even if you're serving a devotee, even like she wasn't a devotee, but she was serving a devotee. But Krishna was even looking after her. Even the servant of a devotee. Even we might not be a devotee, but even you're serving a devotee, and Krishna looks after also. But sometimes he might do it in a disguise form, or sometimes he might make the arrangement, like with someone in our life that is, helping us like that. Making some arrangement to take care of us. I've seen that even with my spiritual master. He's always been provided for, even without any income. He's got some family maintenance from his very rich parents he had, and there's a special fund for maintaining him. So it's not by chance. It's because Krishna's looking after his devotees like that.
It's true.
And it's true, isn't it? We've always seen that devotees have enough. Of course, we've also always said that often you'll see devotees don't have too much either. They don't have more than what they need, but just enough. Just enough. And that's also Krishna's mercy. Because if you get too much, more than what you need, it can make us crazy. We become greedy. and then become materialistic, and some, get involved in gambling, get involved in prostitution, get involved in so many things, overeating. That's also very bad, overeating. If you have too much money, then you might be overeating because you can buy more nice food. But if you don't have much money, you can't afford fancy food, then that'll keep your health good. So there's many benefits also of not having too much money, too many, too much food, too big a house, all these kind of things. So means Krishna arranges just enough for the devotee, not too much, not too less. And of course, if a devotee has the capacity to use all the material things to spread Krishna consciousness, then Krishna may give more. And we talked about that. Like Prabhupada went to America with 40 rupees, but after 10 years he had 40 crores. So Krishna just gave him so much because Krishna knows that Prabhupada has the capacity to use all those resources to spread Krishna consciousness, not for his personal enjoyment. We see, unfortunately, so many Kali Yuga gurus that get a lot of followers and wealth and that, and then they misuse it for their sense gratification. And then ultimately they fall down. And it gets taken away. So we should be very careful. We should be very careful.
A recent story that the ISKCON Bangalore.
Yeah.
It's not part of the ISKCON Bombay. The story that he won the case in the Supreme Court.
Yes.
That what's his name is Pandit.
Madhu Pandit.
Right. It's okay. Like he also a disciple of Jayapataka Maharaj.
Correct.
But is he not following his guru?
No, he became a follower of the Ritvik philosophy. I don't know if you know what the Ritvik philosophy is. Ritvik means they only accept Prabhupada as the guru, nobody else. So nobody else is a guru except we're all just servants of Prabhupada. And we're all like disciples of Prabhupada. That there's no one else qualified to become a guru. And, I can see why people go down that path because, as you know, some of Prabhupada's disciples went off track and like that. So they lose faith. They lose faith in Prabhupada's followers who became gurus.
So what's the right thing? Like, what is right? Like, I'm a baby. Sorry, my ignorance. I don't know what is right then. Is Madhu Pandit right?
It's not. I personally think it's not a big deal because even like, say, I'm a disciple of Giriraj Swami, right? But whose instructions do I follow? It's all Prabhupada.
Yes, of course.
It's all. Even what does Giriraj Swami say? He just says what he heard from Prabhupada. So really, we're just following Prabhupada. So, but my initiating guru is Giriraj Swami, not Prabhupada. Prabhupada didn't initiate me. Giriraj Swami did. Yeah. But yet we're following Prabhupada's instructions, even though it's coming through. What's that?
He do the same. He followed the Prabhupada instruction too.
Yeah, and one instruction Giriraj Swami gave me is to read Prabhupada's books, and chant 16 rounds, follow the four regulated principles. So that's the same thing that Prabhupada said, and what Prabhupada said is the same thing that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said. And what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said, the same thing Gaurkishore Das Babaji said, same thing Bhaktivinoda Thakur, same thing Krishna said. So it doesn't really matter. It's not a big deal. But I would say, you have to be careful in selecting a spiritual master, initiating guru. But even if you did get initiated by a guru, and even if the guru does fall down, like has happened, like I said, it's not a big deal because you're still going to just follow Prabhupada's instructions. And even the 6 Goswamis talk about this point of what to do if a guru falls down. They talk about it in their books, which were written 500 years ago. So if it's written in a book 500 years ago, what to do if a guru falls down, then what does that tell you?
That tells me that if there is happened there, actually you have to give it a second chance to the Guru if he wants to come back. You know, every
No.
human.
I'll tell you what it says about it, but that's another point. But the point is, what does it tell you is that it was also happening 500 years ago.
Yes.
If gurus weren't falling down 500 years ago, why
Yes.
would they talk about it?
Yes.
What
Yes.
to do if it happens? So the point is, that's not a new thing. We think,
Okay.
oh, it's just an ISKCON that gurus fall down. No, it's not. They
Who
even
is-
fall down in the, Madhvacharya Sampradaya, in the Ramanuja Sampradaya, and the Shankaracharya Sampradaya. Every organization, in the Christians, so many fall downs in Christianity, it's ridiculous. And Catholics and everything like that, so many falling down. And even in materialistic society, some CEO of some organization stuffs up and he's pulled down. So even, in a material organization, people are falling down from their position. So what to speak of the spiritual organization? But actually, what the recommendation was by the six Goswamis 500 years ago, if the guru falls down, is the disciple can try to help the guru come back on the right path.
Yeah.
Try to. And if he does, that's very good. And then he can continue to follow him. And then if he doesn't, then you reject him. It says then you reject that. He's not your guru anymore.
Yeah.
If he falls down and he doesn't get corrected by you or someone else, then you can't accept him as a guru anymore. And then it's not that you reject him as a soul. He's still a dear soul to Krishna, but you can't follow his instructions anymore. So if he falls down from his following the regulated principles, then you can't follow his instructions anymore. So you reject that part. And then it says get reinitiated. And then it says get reinitiated again by another guru. That you can do that if you want to. So that option is there. You can get reinitiated. So, but it's like I said, the main point is it was happening 500 years ago. Even before that, it would have been happening, and that's why they mention it. So it's not a new thing.
Yeah. And it's gonna be happening in future as well.
Yeah, and if you think about what the Ritviks say, it's a bit stupid because if you're going to translate what the word guru means, what does it mean? It means teacher.
Yes.
So are you telling me then that there's only one teacher and the teacher is Prabhupada? There's no other teacher? Of course, there's millions of teachers. If you know cooking very well, then you're a guru of cooking. If you know astrology very well, you're a guru of astrology. If you know building very well, you're a guru of building. And if you know the Vedas very well, then you're a guru of the Vedas. Then you can teach about Krishna if you know the Vedas. So that's the real point, is you can accept that person as a guru if they know the Vedas. If they know the Vedas and they follow the Vedas, you can accept them like that. So I think it's a bit unfair to say there's no one fit to be a guru except for Prabhupada, because there are many devotees that are very knowledgeable about the Vedas, and they practice that in their own life and teach it to others. So that's a guru. That you want to come closer, because then I have to repeat what you say, otherwise he can't hear.
ISKCON Bangalore thing is that they take objection to that original 11 people, that they are using that letter.
Yeah.
And then from that they are saying. So they are saying those 11 people that took over Prabhupada's mission, and that's their main pet peeve.
Yeah, they don't believe in GBC.
No, well, I mean, Prabhupada wanted to have a GBC.
Yeah,
so that's going against Prabhupada if you say you don't want GBC. Then the only thing is, of course, the GBC should do what Prabhupada wanted the GBC to do. I mean, unfortunately, and it's true, the original GBC were really, many of them were very proud. They made themselves into more bigger than what they were.
Okay.
They called them the zonal acharyas. So every one of those 12 originals had a zone in the world.
Yeah.
So they were like a king of the castle. That was the castle, that part of the world, and they were the king. Some of them had, you know what I mean by Vyasa-san, right? Vyasa-san, a seat that the guru sits on, right?
Yes.
Like when you go to New Gokula, that seat that Prabhupada sits on is called Vyasa-san.
Yep.
So the representative of Vyasadeva, the guru is the representative of Vyasadeva. So
Yep.
this seat, the guru's seat, is called Vyasa-san, right? So, but these disciples of Prabhupada who became gurus after he left,
Yeah.
their seat many times was higher than Prabhupada's in the temple. Now that's a bad sign.
Nah.
That's a bad sign. You can't be higher than your
No.
guru. You should be lower than your
That's right.
guru. You never higher. So it's a fact, and many people realize that you know they became a bit proud. They should have just humbly been, you know, accepting that service of a guru, you know, to serve Prabhupada, and not become proud or anything, thinking they are greater or anything. So yeah, and as a result, you know, many of them got smashed, you know, there was problems and they fell down and stuff like that. So we all know that. We all know that. But that doesn't mean we throw out the principle of gurus. No, what that means is you just have to be more careful and not become proud and be humble, and don't teach beyond what you know. Don't teach like beyond what you know.
Yeah.
It's like I do cooking, Indian style cooking. I can teach that, but I shouldn't start doing Chinese cooking or whatever. I don't know about that. You know, I shouldn't just speculate or whatever. So you can only teach as much as you know. And don't present that you know more than what you know. So then that's being proud, you know. So that's the way to go forward. Is just we have to become, you know, bona fide gurus, you know, and be qualified to teach whatever it is that we're teaching, and not that we remain unqualified. And definitely I've heard Prabhupada say in lectures that Prabhupada said himself, I want thousands of gurus. I want there to be hundreds of thousands of gurus. So Prabhupada never said that I'm the only guru, no one else can ever be a guru. He wanted hundreds and thousands of gurus to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. If we don't become gurus, how is Krishna consciousness going to get spread? Krishna consciousness only spreads if you teach it to people.
Yes.
You know, if no one's going to teach it, then who's going to become Krishna conscious? You know, like that. So Prabhupada wanted devotees to spread out throughout the world and teach Krishna consciousness. So effectively that means that they're becoming gurus. And as long as you just repeat what Prabhupada said, then you're not going to go wrong. Then you're a guru. If you change it, and that's where we've gone wrong, that if you change what you've heard from your guru and create your own version, then you immediately fallen down. That's when it gets stuffed up.
Yeah.
But see, they've taken it the other way. Okay, no more gurus. But that doesn't work either. You haven't solved the problem. The real problem is that we need to be a proper guru, not get rid of the gurus.
No.
I mean, like, if you go to take your car to a mechanic and they wreck your car, does that mean you're never going to ever go to a mechanic ever again in your life?
No, definitely will go a different mechanic.
But you'll be more careful to get a good mechanic, right? If you go to a doctor and he really screws up your health, does that mean you're never ever going to see a doctor ever again in your life?
I'll go to a doctor, but I'll be more careful.
You'll be more careful. So that's what you should do. Not that I throw out all the doctors, throw out all the mechanics, just because you met one bad one. Are you going to throw them all out? You went to a restaurant and you had a disgusting meal. Does that mean you're never going to go out and eat anywhere ever again? No, you'll just be more careful
Like say,
where are you going to eat.
when you drive a car, if you get an accident, would you stop driving?
I know.
No.
So that's Ritvik philosophy.
That's all.
Yeah. So that's Ritvik have taken it to that extreme. You're never going to get in a car again. You know, so they're just very afraid. I mean, I got a neighbor. He fell off his motorbike, and he never wants to get on a bike ever again. He just walks everywhere. So he just walks. But it's not very practical. It's not very practical. But you just have to be more careful. See, he wasn't careful when he was riding his bike, and therefore he fell off. But you just have to be more careful. Not that you can't use a bike ever again. You just have to be more careful. So that's the way to go. But yeah, so I personally don't agree with Ritvik philosophy, but I personally don't agree with the behavior of a lot of ISKCON devotees either. You know, they become too proud. You know, become too proud. I don't agree with that. And they have to suffer. And then the whole society suffers because of that. You know, so that's also has its problems. Well, you know, we've had really foolish things happen, like say one particular devotee fell down, like Harikesh, for example, and say he had 5,000 disciples and 4,000, say this is, I don't know exactly, and then say 4,500 of them left the movement. That's just dumb. That's just really dumb.
You have to go like a guru's guru, which is Prabhupada. If Guru fall down,
yeah, or some other, you know, other gurus, but not leave Krishna consciousness, which is what happened. You know, so it was like a disaster. What if a guru fell down? Then all the disciples thought their life was just over, but it wasn't over. If they, yeah, come closer. You're not listening. Come on, come on. Come closer so he can hear.
Many of the disciples of Harikesh or whoever, all those people,
they
didn't leave Krishna consciousness. Actually, there are many who are practicing Krishna consciousness outside of ISKCON.
Okay.
That's also there, but many of them also stopped following the things.
Some stopped, but at the same time, many, and if you go by a lot of those disciples, they are still wanting to have a devotee association and everything, but they are so scared of ISKCON because in those times, after Prabhupada left, and the early 80s and the late 70s, early 80s, things were really bad in these so-called ISKCON, some of these centers where people were, just forced to leave. Yes. They just had to leave because of the way they were treated. Because you can't question anything, you can't say anything against these so-called leaders, and they can see that is not what Prabhupada wanted, so they left. And they have been practicing on their own. They're still there, so you can't say that they just all left Krishna consciousness. They haven't left Krishna consciousness. Some may have left Krishna consciousness, and that's fair, fine, that's fair, but not everybody.
I didn't say everybody, but definitely a massive percentage just disappeared. No more Harinams, no more prasad distribution, no more book distribution, nothing. Yeah, so basically, it's not pretty much out of the picture. So I'm just saying it didn't have to be that extreme. It didn't have to be that extreme. But, so it was crazy, crazy times. And, but whatever the crazy times, definitely it's not a reason to leave Krishna consciousness. We should expect, actually, we're warned in the scriptures in Kali Yuga as completely crazy times. Completely crazy times. So we shouldn't be surprised.
It's a worse to come. It's a more worse time is coming.
Correct.
It's just the beginning of Kali Yuga.
Yeah.
Worse
Yeah, I mean, so a temple might go through some crazy times, but that doesn't mean we should give up Krishna consciousness. just because the temple is going through crazy times or a guru is going through crazy times or whatever. But that doesn't mean we should leave Krishna consciousness. That was my only point. And so yeah, there's points on both sides. Sometimes the gurus have problems, but that doesn't mean you should give up that principle of accepting a guru. That's a very fundamental principle of Krishna consciousness. We need to get knowledge from somewhere, and wherever that knowledge is coming from, that person's acting as a guru. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, guru means teacher. So if you're going to learn how to cook, you need a teacher, like your mum, right? So when your mum is teaching you how to cook, she's your guru
Then
for
once you
cooking.
mean that you
Huh?
can forget. Means I know how to cooking. That doesn't mean I can forget my mom. And it's mom teaches you. I can cook maybe better than my mom, but it doesn't mean that I forget mom.
Correct.
I'll always respect mom because
Yeah.
she's the one.
Yeah. And then one should always be, like you're saying, grateful for what we've received. You know, like that the mother maintained me, you know, the guru has taught me who I am and why I'm here and why, you know, how to get free from suffering and everything. So we should always be grateful for what we receive from our authorities who are, you know, maintaining us. You know, once again, this verse is talking about being maintained. So whoever's maintaining us, ultimately Krishna's maintaining us, but maintaining us through the mother, through the father, through the guru, through so many. So we should always be grateful for how Krishna's maintaining us in different ways. Okay, let's read the purport.
1 minute, I turn the light on. 1 second.
Yeah. What, has Neil already come, Jayanti? I don't know. Poke your head out and see if the van's still there. It must be.
Hey.
Okay.
One who is unable to live for a moment without Krishna consciousness cannot but think of Krishna 24 hours a day.
Jayanti, turn the light on outside. Out the back. Oh, it is. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. Continue.
One who is unable to live for a moment without Krishna consciousness cannot but think of Krishna 24 hours a day, being engaged in devotional service by hearing, chanting, remembering, offering prayers, worshipping, serving the lotus feet of Lord, rendering other services, cultivating friendship, and surrendering fully to the Lord. Such activities are all auspicious and full of spiritual potencies, which make the devotees perfect in self-realization, so that his only desire is to achieve the association of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such a devotee undoubtedly approaches the Lord without difficulty. This is called yoga. By the mercy of the Lord, such a devotee never come back to this material condition of life. Krishna refers to merciful perfection of Lord. The Lord helps the devotees to achieve Krishna consciousness by yoga, and when he becomes fully Krishna conscious, the Lord protects him from falling down to a miserable conditioned life. What's the Krishna refers?
Shema.
Shema.
It's in the verse. It says
Okay.
protection.
Okay.
If you look at the word for word in the verse, the last line of the verse, there's it says protection, and then Prabhupada's saying here protection. So yeah, this verse is saying that, you know, if you worship Krishna exclusively with devotion and you meditate on him, then he'll give you protection. He'll give you protection. And that's
like, for example, somebody working 9 to 5, and if he's at working as a public servant or something, and then 9 to 5 he cannot remembering Krishna. Maybe I'm driving Uber, I may be remembering Krishna while driving because I've got nothing much to driving and then keep remembering. But if somebody 9 to 5, he's like a customer service, he's talking to the customer, same time he cannot remember Krishna 9 to 5. Before 9, maybe after 5, but that duration time, he's a devotee, but to maintain his family and the life and the food and the shelter, 9 to 5 he has to work. What happened to that? Like he could not, because one after the other phone call coming, meeting, and the customers, he cannot remember the Krishna at that time.
Yeah.
So it's like he's a half devotee then, or is a full devotee?
Well, it's not all or nothing. It's not all or nothing. There's different degrees of devotees. And it's hard to say, you know, what Krishna thinks about each individual devotee. But definitely, so you can't say that Krishna's going to do this or Krishna's not going to do that, because how do you know? I mean, what Krishna's going to do? You know, you might have done even, you know, one very sincere service in your life.
Yeah.
But Krishna might be so pleased just by that one thing, he might just say, I'm going to take Gulshan back to Godhead because, you know, he did some very sincere service one day. You know, so you can't really tell where everyone's at, you know, and what's going to happen to everyone. And we should all just try the very best we can. And Prabhupada just encouraged everyone to try to be as sincere as possible and serious as we can. Prabhupada encouraged devotees to try to take Krishna consciousness very seriously and go back to Godhead in this one lifetime.
Yep.
He really wanted us to aim to make that our ambition, our goal, to go back to Godhead in this one life. Don't muck around and think, oh, it doesn't matter, in, you know, 2, 3, or 10 lives. We should try to go back to Godhead in one lifetime. So try to take it seriously. But like it's saying here in this verse, that we're so fortunate that we have all these different services, like there's 9 processes of devotional service. It's mentioning some of them here: hearing and chanting, remembering, offering prayers, worshipping, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, rendering other services, cultivating friendship, surrendering fully to the Lord. So this is all 9 Prabhupada's mentioned. There's 9 altogether. So we're very lucky that we have all these different services we can do. And that way we can fill up the whole day with these services. Sometimes, like now, you're hearing about Krishna, and now I'm chanting. You know, I'm chanting, you're hearing. So we're hearing and chanting. And then we're worshipping, like you might offer some incense to Jagannath or some flowers or something like that. Offer some food to him. So you're worshipping him. And then sometimes you'll be remembering Jagannath, or remembering Lord Chaitanya, or remembering Prabhupada, or whatever like that. And other services, you know, like in the Bhakti tree. So that's in the other services. Dasyam, you know, so you're distributing prasadam. That's the service to Krishna, like that. And make a friendship with Krishna and surrendering fully to the Lord. I mean, you surrendered, you gave up your working in Gloria Jeans, you know, that was surrender. So, I mean, even that, you know, Krishna might have been so pleased all those years ago that you just surrendered all that, your other life, you know, working at Gloria Jeans, your franchise. And
this happened 2016. I was at the Gloria Jeans back in those days. I won't mention that happened there. And its changes that, but on that time I still had a business, but that's something happened there in 2016. I wouldn't go that deep in there. Yesterday there is the one guy came that he's a regular customer, like at 2-3 times a week he comes. He works close by, so he comes, like, you know, I can see but he doesn't come on the weekend because Monday to Friday working. And then yesterday he came, and then he went there, he poured chanting bead and the bag. And he was Westerners. And then he's got no shika, no tilak, nothing. And I was just stunned. And I said, do you know what is it? He said, yes. He never come to temple, never talked about me, about the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada, nothing. Nothing is for nothing. And then I said, do you know what it is? He said, yeah, chanting bead. And he said, what's that? I said, bag, yeah. And I said, did you ever chant before? He said, yes. I said, where's your chanting bead? He said, I left in Sydney. So I'm buying another one. Then I still wasn't satisfied. I said, what are you chanting on? You know, what are you saying while you're chanting? He said, Maha Mantra. Oh my Lord. I was just stunned. I was just like, it's like just the land is just going under my feet. I said, my Lord. I said, do you know about the Bhagavad Gita? He said, I've got at home a copy. I was just like, I could not, speechless. And he comes like, I've seen him for last at least 4 or 5 years. Twice a week comes, sometimes 3 times.
So you can't tell by externals. Someone might be working in a factory, an office or whatever. But how do you know what they're thinking of? They could be thinking about Krishna.
Yes.
So, and this is what it's saying here. It doesn't say here you have to be a pujari in the temple and think of me. It just says you just have to worship Krishna exclusively and be meditating on him. You could be doing that working in a factory, an office, or on a farm or anywhere. Yeah. So it's not only temple devotees or whatever this is talking about. This is, just anyone can be thinking about Krishna.
Yeah.
Even we know, where did Krishna appear? He appeared to his devotees in the prison, Kamsa's prison. Devaki and Vasudeva were in the prison. So and what were they thinking about? They're thinking about God. Yeah. They're thinking about God in the prison. So even you could be in a prison thinking about Krishna. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you can't tell just because someone's not a sannyasi or they're not in the temple or whatever like that they're not Krishna conscious. No, like you were so surprised. This man, random man is like Krishna conscious.
He left the bead bags in Sydney. That's why he purchased one, because he said, I left in Sydney and then last night, so I was coming there. So I don't have it. So, because I'm not going to Sydney for 1 week. So I need that. And I was just keep looking at him. I didn't say anything, just keep looking. And I said, wow, for last 5 years, I did not know that. He didn't talk and I didn't talk. Like a lot of Westerners they come and eat and go. I don't really started preaching everyone, like while they're eating and sitting on their neck and just keep saying about Krishna consciousness. If they talk, I talk.
Yeah.
But if they don't, I don't. I keep it to myself. And the same guy, this guy, 2-3 times a week, it's fine as another Westerners. But when he purchased a bead bag and telling about me, and I was so much shocked. Like, I don't know, he's just like, he's meditating on Maha Mantra and nobody knows how deep he is. Sure. He cannot judge book by the cover. Sometimes
that's it. Always be very careful.
Yeah. He was a great
and meditating on the Maha Mantra is identical with meditating on Krishna's form. Yeah. So there's no difference. So like I said, there's no difference between the Bhagavad Gita and Krishna. Also, there's no difference between the holy name and Krishna. It's all absolute, all identical. And if we do this, if we are always engaged in Krishna's service, then naturally what will follow on from, we're hearing about Krishna, then chanting, remembering, worshipping him, serving him like that. Naturally, what's going to follow on from that is that you're always going to be thinking about him. You're always going to be thinking about him. And then if you're always thinking about him, then like he said, then what he's going to do is protect you. He's going to maintain you and protect you. So on our side, what we're doing, we're always serving him. And on his side, he's always looking after us. Right?
Absolutely.
So that's the reciprocation in love, that the devotee is always serving the Lord and the Lord is always maintaining and protecting the devotee. And that's especially why also it should be very natural that we serve God, we serve Krishna, because he is doing so much for us. Where does our food come from? From Krishna. Where does our water come from? Krishna. The air come from? Krishna. The sun come from? Krishna. The moonlight? Krishna. Where does our body come from? Krishna. Where does our mother and father come from? Krishna. Where do our children come from? Krishna. Where does the house come from? The furniture, the money, the job, everything, Krishna. So when the devotee realizes that Krishna's maintaining me and providing everything I need, then naturally feels like, oh, I want to do something for Krishna. Krishna's doing so much for me. How can I do a little bit for Krishna? This is just gratitude. So there should be some natural gratitude comes when we realize that everything comes from Krishna. And that's that famous verse, 10th chapter, text 8, where Krishna says, I'm the source of the spiritual material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this constantly engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So just before your favorite 10:10, there's that 10:8. He says, I'm the source of everything. So then naturally following on, when we realize that, we should dedicate ourselves to serving Krishna when we realize how much he's looking after us, maintaining us. Why is it that people don't serve Krishna? Is because they haven't understood the importance of Krishna in their life. They haven't understood that Krishna's maintaining me. They haven't understood that Krishna's protecting me. If they have understood that, then automatically they would be serving Krishna. If we see someone's not serving Krishna, that means they haven't understood that Krishna's maintaining me and he's protecting me. Why do I need God? I don't need God. We say, oh, you need God. And they say, no, I don't need God, because they haven't understood where the food comes from. They think, oh, the food comes from Aldi or Woolies, or it's just by chance. The sun is by chance. You get a partner by chance. You get appearance by chance. You get money by chance. You get a job by chance. Everything is by chance. But actual fact is that everything is Krishna's mercy to us. Out of his love for us, he's giving us the food, the water, the air, and we should be grateful and do some service. If we don't, well, we call that a spoilt brat. If you're receiving everything
Bread,
from your parents, huh?
bread is not spoiled. He says spoiled bread. Bread is not spoiled.
Brett. I said brat, not Brett. Not spoilt Brett, spoilt brat. But yeah, it's not good, as you know, to be a spoilt brat. That's not nice to be like that. It means ungrateful, The parents are giving everything and we're not grateful and we don't do anything back for our parents. That's very spoilt. So yeah, we should be very grateful, and then naturally service will come. So that's very important to understand that God is maintaining us, that Krishna is maintaining us, he's protecting us.
You said that love to Krishna, but if you love something, do you want something in return? Or it can be one-sided love?
No, pure love is there's no expectation of a return. See, Krishna is giving us all these things that we require without expectation, right? Because if there was expectation, we would know, because if you didn't do any service for Krishna, Krishna would cut off the supply. But we see that Krishna keeps supplying all these things, even if we don't love him, right? Like even if we're an atheist, Krishna still gives them food. He still gives them water, still gives them air. It's not that only religious people breathe air and get sunlight. Everyone, even you're an ignorant animal or an ignorant atheist, you get sunlight and water and everything. So definitely Krishna is serving us without any expectation of return. So we also ideally should serve Krishna without expecting anything in return. But even though you don't expect return, but the return comes. Do you understand that? So
Yeah.
it's, you shouldn't expect return, but does that mean you won't get anything in return because you're not expecting it? No, it doesn't mean that. You will get it, but you shouldn't expect it.
So it's
So you
it's
should think, I'm going to serve Krishna, even if he doesn't give me what I want, even if he doesn't make me happy like that. And
that question should not be coming in your mind anyway.
yeah, I mean, like I've got a very old time friend. He joined a bit before me, like more than 30 years ago. He was already in the temple, but he never got initiated for whatever reasons. And he's a bit upset now that he's over 50 years old like me, and he hasn't got a partner, he hasn't got a wife. So he's a bit upset that he's done all this service over 30 years and that he hasn't got a partner.
So it means he was
And
doing a service, you want to have a partner, so you want a business.
I know. So it's not very good. What we should think is that if Krishna hasn't given me a partner, it's because the partner's not good for me.
Might lose
It's
the
not
track.
good for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
It could. That's right. That's why I didn't get the partner.
Yeah, it's like sometime the child might have a disease and the parents don't give the child food because it would be bad for them if they eat when they're sick. So does that mean that the parents don't love the children because they're not giving food? No, it means that because they love the child, they're not giving, because it'll make it more worse. So sometimes Krishna might not give something to the devotee if he knows it's bad for them.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
No, completely understand that. But
Yes.
is there a difference in like a human love and the Krishna's love? A love is love, or there's a difference?
No, and it's very different. Yeah, Krishna's love, like I said, it's unconditional, whereas often ours is conditional and motivated. But we can also have the same love that Krishna has, that pure love. It's possible. But it's very rare in this material world. That pure love is very rare. What we normally talk about in love in the material world is lust, calm.
But now you love Krishna, but you love Jayanti as well. So you don't expect anything in return either of them. But love is pure, whether Jayanti or Krishna. Love is love, and I love. You can't see, Jayanti, I can love you that, or Krishna, I love you that. Love is love. It is. You can't really, see that difference. Love means a purity, a clarity, and it's just a genuine way. There's no cover up, no makeup. That's when you're in front of Jayanti. No cover up, no makeup, pure love. And you do something, Jayanti, which is like not good for Jayanti, you won't do it. Now, the same thing is the Krishna. Love is love. That is different from Jayanti or Krishna. You don't expect anything in return from Jayanti either. Love is love. I'm still a junior.
But we're aspiring for that. That pure love means absolutely no expectation. Yeah, that's very rare, very high level.
But like if you're serving Jayanti and then love Jayanti, don't expect anything in return is equal to serving Krishna. Because
definitely we should try to achieve that in all of our relationships, not to have that expectation, because it's that expectation that stuffs up the relationship. That's why relationships get stuffed up, because we have those expectations.
And if not, then it's a pure love. No expectation means pure love. It's like Jayanti has got a part and parcel of Krishna. So everyone, I'm sure you don't expect anything in return from Jayanti. So your love is pure, whether Krishna or Jayanti. No difference. Love is love.
Yeah. The only thing is we need to know what is love and we need to know what is lust, and they're opposite things. Because it said that love is the desire to please Krishna's senses, and lust is the desire to please our senses. So always we have to check in our life, am I doing this for Krishna or am I doing it for me?
But it's Krishna says that if you can see everyone in me and me in everyone, I'm
Yeah.
not away from you. So if you
Yeah.
can see Krishna in Jayanti and Jayanti in Krishna,
Yeah, so even means say like my relationship with Jayanti should be to please Krishna.
yes.
Yeah, and then that's love also.
And then if she's a pure devotee, you serve pure devotee, Krishna's happy.
Yeah, true.
Because she never ever
But
leave off.
say if you can't go and say that, okay, so then love means to please the other person, so not to please yourself. But for example, if it was a materialistic woman,
Yeah.
and then you just lived your life was based on pleasing her, and is that love? No, because she might be taking you away from Krishna. If you were like serving a materialistic woman, right?
But
Sex,
if
drugs, rock and roll,
yeah,
eat, drink, and be merry,
yeah,
then and you think, well, that's love because I'm always trying to please her. She's asking for a rum and coke, so I get her a rum and coke. She's asking for a Big Mac, so I get her a Big Mac, and that's love. No, it's not love, because the definition of love is to try to please Krishna.
if your
So
devotion is strong, she can convert into Krishna consciousness.
if you can do that, then that's love. So
Yeah.
then that should be, so the relationship is how to bring that soul to Krishna. Then that's love. But to surrender to their Maya, that's not love. Like if they are pulling you, if you are following, they are going to Maya and you are following them, then that means you're both going in the ditch.
If somebody a drunken man, like you got a friend and he's got a drinking habit, and
Yeah.
in the if he borrow your money, you know where he's gonna go.
Yes.
Better
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
a friend,
Yeah.
he's drinking every day. In the
Yeah.
evening, you say, "Oh, can I borrow some money?" You know where he's going, so better not lend him the money,
Yes.
even if he's your friend. And still, you know that he's
Yeah.
gonna go straight to the bottle shop.
Yes.
No, got it. Yeah,
Yes.
that's the things.
Yeah.
Okay. Learning, still learning. You are
We should
more
always be trying to learn. Yeah.
learning
Always
now.
be a disciple.
Always, never stops. Yeah.
Even if we become a guru, we should still think I'm a disciple. We're always trying to learn. Even the guru is learning.
Yes.
So we might be teaching someone, but
Yeah.
from another person, we're learning something.
Yes.
And only if you're learning can you have some knowledge to teach. If you're not learning, how can you be teaching? So side by side, two things are going on. Whatever
Yes.
you're learning, whatever
Yeah.
you're learning, then you teach it to somebody else. You
Yeah.
see? So that way, we're always a disciple and we're always a guru at the same time.
So,
Does that make sense?
yes, 100%. Yeah. Sometimes we are teachers, sometimes we are student.
Yes. Yes.
It depends.
Just acting, but always we should be a devotee. Always we're doing it as a service. So as a service, we are acting as a disciple, and as a service, we're acting as a guru. Yeah. Okay, well, lovely to spend time with you again. And you have a great week. Take care. And yeah, exciting with your trip up north. I hope that goes really well. And where are you? Have you decided whereabouts you want to go, or just a rough idea?
Roughly towards the Cairns, with Sunday Island, McCoy, Ingham, that area. So I'm going to be start going maybe 600-700 kilometers, then stop, and next day again 600-700 kilometers, then stop.